En una situación como la que ha vivido y vive el glorioso pueblo de Colombia, hay que hacerse la pregunta, ¿qué es lo que más importa? ¿La verdad? ¿La justicia? ¿O no será, en todo caso, la paz, que es algo que significa porvenir? De cómo nos ubiquemos con estas tres respuestas depende mucho lo que se puede hacer. Antes de mandar este mensaje dudé mucho, porque la experiencia indica que quien ha vivido sumergido con su memoria en el dolor por cosas que han pasado, que nadie nos restituye, difícilmente puedan mirar con claridad el porvenir. Así nos pasa a los hombres. Si pudiera dar un consejo, pediría que miren hacia Sudáfrica. Tal vez en la historia de Mandela y su pueblo puedan encontrar una respuesta de porvenir que los ayude. Vale la pena tentar una oportunidad que es difícil que se vuelva a presentar. Tal vez no deberían dejarla pasar.
I'm delighted to be able to join you today by video message for this important forum, which represents a historical opportunity for the future of the country. Now is the time to turn the page on a conflict that has caused immense suffering and lasted for too long. This is a unique opportunity in the peace process. The rights of the victim are part of the negotiations. Today I have one message for all of you. In your discussions, in your proposals, in your action, do not forget children. For too many years, children have lived through this conflict. They have been displaced, they have been out of school, recruited by armed groups, victims of sexual violence. They need us, they need you to rebuild their lives and to make their voices heard. So I invite you to think about their needs and their vulnerabilities, to think about these children who have lost their childhood and who have been traumatized by the violence, and to think about involving them and listening to them to shape the future of the country. This is essential to build a durable peace, ensure accountability, serve justice, and achieve reconciliation. As you make history with the process you have started, make sure that the children of Colombia are part of it. Thank you, and I wish you a productive and constructive forum.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. After 5 long decades of conflict, the pathway to peace is becoming clearer. All Colombians are victims of this war. Women, already discriminated against, have been killed and kidnapped at higher rates. Women are a majority of the displaced, pushed from their land and their livelihood. and women are the overwhelming majority of the victims of sexual violence. As you know, there can be no peace without justice. This is the time for transformation and improvement, a time to address the disparities and injustices that precede conflict, and a time to recognize the rights of victims and provide them with redress. We must empower women in society, in the economy, and in politics so that they will not be victims again. UN Women stands with the women and the men of Colombia in your struggle for peace, justice, and equality. Thank you.
Warm greetings to all participants in this historic forum. I would particularly like to pay tribute to the victims of the armed conflict that have come to provide their testimony to ensure that their voices and their rights are at the center of peace talks. For the victims of sexual violence who have for so long been ignored, your voice is critical to ensuring that the questions of truth, reparation, protection, and security are addressed, and that the justice you deserve is no longer delayed or denied. The pain and brutality that haunts you is difficult to comprehend, and I commend your bravery in coming forward to explain what you have suffered. Ultimately, your testimonies and your concrete proposal will be critical to ensure that sexual violence is recognized as the international crime that it is, and that such crimes do not remain hidden in silence and impunity. The entire UN system stands with you in your efforts to move Colombia forward at this crucial juncture in its history. Your courage is an inspiration to all the victims of conflicts in the region and the world. For the past years, we have worked with your governments to develop a robust national legal framework, including guidelines for the Ministry of Defense on sexual violence. We will continue to be at the disposal of the national authorities to ensure that the rights of the victims of sexual violence are respected and that perpetrators are held to account. Thank you.
It is with great pleasure that I address you during the first day of the National Forum on Victims. This is a promising moment for Colombia, and the current negotiations on the agenda point related to victims' rights are critical for achieving lasting peace. Victims' rights to truth, justice, reparation, and guarantees of non-recurrence can in no way be construed as an obstacle to peace and reconciliation. On the contrary, they are essential for the success and stability of any peace agreement that is reached. I would like to encourage you to take this opportunity to share your personal stories and bring your constructive proposals to the table. I hope that this will be a forum where you will define what directions Colombia's society should take in a post-conflict scenario. I encourage you to advocate for a society that has systems in place to address impunity and ensure accountability for crimes. This is essential to prevent the recurrence of similar gross human rights violations and serious violations of international humanitarian law that many of you have suffered in the past. There are a number of challenges ahead. Victims of human rights violations are fundamental actors in healing the wounds of the past and in reaching the most appropriate transitional justice solutions. You represent a wide spectrum of actors. You come from different regions and from different sectors of society. You all have your individual experiences and your voices must be heard. And you have united today around a common goal to contribute to the achievement of peace in Colombia. I want to reassure you that the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights will continue to support you and all other relevant actors in achieving that objective. We will do this through effective advocacy and by providing technical guidance so that the future peace agreement is founded on human rights and is implemented on the basis of a human rights-based approach throughout the country, wherever you may be. Thank you.
Quisiera rendir homenaje a la fortaleza de las víctimas del conflicto en Colombia, que refleja el inmenso dolor y sufrimiento que han compartido conmigo muchas de ellas en mis viajes a Colombia y en mis encuentros con colombianas y colombianos refugiados lejos de su país. Apoyo al pueblo de Colombia y a su gobierno en esta iniciativa de diálogo para la terminación del conflicto y en la realización del Foro Nacional de Víctimas en la ciudad de Cali. Espero que los resultados de este esfuerzo permitan a las víctimas la garantía de sus derechos y la expresión de su esperanza en la anhelada paz. El reconocimiento y la garantía de los derechos de las víctimas será la única forma de asegurar que la construcción de la paz sea sostenible y duradera. Les deseo muchos éxitos en sus deliberaciones.